There we go. Way to
Boom,
go,
baby.
Roger. You nailed that intro, buddy. You nailed that.
Learn from Dave.
That's it. Well, Dave might get a little nervous. You might take on the executive producing role.
No, he can have it.
With great power comes great responsibility, right? So
that was a nice intro, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jason. So without further ado, what is up, everybody? Welcome to 3 Men in a Basement. I am your host, Otto, coming to you live and direct from the Grotto. This is the Wednesday night special. This is something that I talked to my compadres about doing. And, you know, we have great news. We have a great topic to talk about tonight. And I think Wednesday night is a great night to do it. The defects are off. So why don't we jump in? And we're just going to have a great time. So as always, if I am Han Solo on this Millennium Falcon, co-piloting is Chewie himself.
Chewie again.
Chewie again. That's right.
What is going on, chat? Everybody that's watching now or on the rewind, this could be a great. I'd love having guests. I love being able to find out about other people in the community. You know how I do. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great show.
All right. Without further ado, I have our very special guest tonight. We have Jason BRODNICK, who is... Yeah, that's right. Who is the owner of Little Giant Comics and the producer, the head honcho, the man with the plan of the Old School Comic Show, right? Am I saying that right? The Old School Comic Show.
I mean, depends. Your Old School Comic Show, you're saying that absolutely right. The Little Giant Comics, Old School Comic Show.
That's right. I love it. And when I was writing this down, I wrote con by mistake, and I said, I love the fact that he didn't put con. I love show, and that's when I look at your website and I look at all the people that have been there and all the smiles on everybody's faces. It feels like a show, right? So that's pretty neat.
It's not the typical con experience. For anybody that's ever been to a con, it's not your typical con experience.
All right.
Sure. So it's, you know, it's not a con, it's a show.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to get to know you as a collector and your background. We've got a lot of things planned tonight. So Raj, who do we got hanging out with us? We got 18, 25 people watching right now. So we got some people coming in.
First guy in looks like the coworker was in first.
He was. The coworker came in first.
I don't know if he's still here, but I saw you told him that we were going to CliffCon on Sunday. So we got Emerald Knight, Chris in the house, Michael P. Uncanny Swag, what's up, brother? We have man from Beantown, Benny Beans. How are you tonight? We have Paul PC, 1974.
Yeah,
you know Benny Beans?
No, I don't. But that sounds like a cool name.
That's right. That's another Boston guy right there.
So you're punching the beans out of him. Dave in the Cave, who wasn't able to join us live, but is in the chat. We got who am I missing here? CLG, one of our friends of the show, Chinmo, Michael Benston, Flash by Night, Connecticut Comics. What's up, Mike? We have Streetside Anthony in the house, the man, the myth, and the legend himself. DJ Lynx,
DJ Lynx.
9 Arrow Maestro 11. I did it that time.
You did it this time. You got it right this time, man. You got it right this time. You've been practicing.
Moonbase Alpha. I'm practicing my Roman numerals just for you. Yeah. All right, I think I got everybody. If I miss you guys, you can keep chopping it up in the chat. But you know, I'll highlight you and shout you out as we go along.
Right.
If you have any questions as we go along for Otto, myself, or especially Jason, just type it in there, and we'll see if we can get them answered for you.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, what we want to do is we have a con coming up, and we're going to talk about that con. But the producer, the man who's running this, is Jason. And Jason did a show last year during this whole thing. And when I talked to him for maybe 30 minutes over the phone about it, he's like, this con has to happen, right? We need to have this happen. And
the community needs it.
Yes. And you know what? And I could hear it in your voice. And I'm like, this guy is all about that life. And I really want to get him on the show. So you have a show coming up, which we're going to talk about, and that's why we're here. And everybody is dying to know about shows. But Jason, man, you're a collector, right? Look at all those long boxes behind you.
This is my dining room too. Which is wild. There's books everywhere. I've collected my whole life. I collected since I was probably 11 years old.
Okay.
My first comic was Rom 18.
Rom 18. Look at that.
Rom 18 was the first book I ever picked up and read, and I fell in love with it. Immediately had to find out what happened, so I had my father take me to the closest comic store, which was Comic Universe. They're still there today. And I went back to Philly 2 years ago, and was able to go back there and see the old store. But I went to Comic Universe, and I bought 17 off the shelf. It was 50 cents. And I got hooked on Rom. I got hooked on the X-Men. You know, for me, it kind of resonated. I was a Chattanooga kid. in Philly. I was probably a year. Had been there about a year, and yeah, it was just kind of resonated with me. The X-Men were outcast, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
kind of hit home. I started reading books. My buddy Carbonaro down the street, he was a comic book collector. We went to school together.
Yeah.
It's funny. He and I used to have shows in his basement.
Really? Okay.
Back in the day, and we had books set up.
That's Mike Carbonaro?
That's not the Mike Carbonaro.
That's a different Mike.
Yeah.
All right, I would have said that.
Exact same name, Mike
Carbonaro. Gotcha. Well, I guess you can never forget either one of their names now, you know?
You can't forget the Mike Carbo we all know.
Yes, right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so, Jason, was comics, we always like to talk about this. Roger has a show called The Cranky Canadian that he brings people on. And some things that he likes to touch on is, what was the first thing you ever collected? You can't tell me that 11, that ROM was the first thing you ever went after. You must have collected something earlier than that as a kid.
No. I mean, I was always into art. I was always drawing. I never really picked up a comic book till about 11 years old.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, prior to that, it was stuff out of the newspaper I would draw. I draw birds and a lot of neat stuff. But, comics kind of broadened my artistic horizon a little bit. I started drawing some of the characters and it was, but yeah, I didn't pick up my first book and didn't start collecting anything.
Anything like not comics, like not like Matchbox cars or Star Wars figures or nothing like that. Really? Okay.
I had Micronauts, I had Star Wars stuff.
Right.
Like any kid, but I wasn't, fond of any one genre.
Gotcha.
Or the other. I wasn't a collector at all.
Right. Wow.
Even initially when I got the ROM, it was just more about, connecting with the story. And I quickly became a collector. That first trip to Comic Universe, I was like, whoa, what is this?
Nice.
I had no idea someplace like that even existed.
Right. Like, oh my God. And you're just like, look at all these books. You're like, oh my God, this is incredible. That's really neat.
My father used to give me a bus pass and $20.
Yeah, right. Well, that's funny you say that because we used to go to a place with me and my older brother, and my mom would give me 20, maybe I'd get another 5 from my dad. While she would buy the groceries, she would drop me and my brother off at this comic store called the Bookie. And we would go to the Bookie and spend like what I would, and the Bookie was,
spending money at the Bookie. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like I'm bringing my kids to the Bookie. My mother won like Mother of the Year when she would tell like people that, but it was 1,100 square feet, if anything. And we would spend 2 hours there just mesmerized by everything,
Yeah,
and just looking at all those books and, looking at a stack of these stupid turtles in a book that was black and white and they were mutants and how dare they change it. And now like, this is like, as I'm holding this stack, this is the stupidest thing ever. This is the absolute stupidest thing ever. So just, regret that for the rest of my life. Same thing with Walking Dead. I really wasn't actively collecting. I was like, what is this? Like emotional zombies? I'm like, this is ridiculous. And now look at it. So
the Walking Dead came about when I took a little hiatus from
for sure.
And that came about. I remember when I got back into collecting, I had bought a small collection, and there was Walking Dead, like maybe 2 through 30.
Okay.
And it was a new series, but they had just announced the TV show was coming.
Okay, that's cool.
So it was super hot. And I wasn't one that frequented comic shops in this area.
Yeah.
That just then gotten back into it. But I remember going to Chris's Comics in Seabrook, and I walked in and I said, "Excuse me, do you have Walking Dead #1?"
Yeah.
It was like the music stopped.
Yeah, like needle drop.
Yeah. Like, what? I guess it was super hot at that point. Untouchable.
Right. Well, it's funny. Like I'm sure you know that now. Like when my brother and I and Roger will joke. Like if we ever get that instinct of, oh, this is the stupidest thing ever, buy them all.
Buy them all, right?
Doesn't matter what you get, just buy them all and hope for the best right there,
Absolutely.
So that's cool. So Jason, do you have your own personal collection now? Like you have like books that you're gonna like, because I know you're now a pretty reputable dealer or a big dealer. We're gonna show you the wall that you set up, but like is now that you're a dealer, do you have your own PC? Is there stuff that won't move?
There are a few books that I would never sell.
Okay.
They're not books that you would think, though.
Okay.
There's a book that Adam Kubert did a sketch of Wolverine on, and he wrote a note to my daughter.
Okay, right.
That's pretty, like, we waited in line for him. We were first people in line, and we had a blank, and we asked him for a sketch, and it was for my daughter at the time. It was she loved sketching, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do sketches. There's a huge line of people. I'm only here for an hour. If I do it for you, got to, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, look, how cool would it be if my daughter goes to the Kubert School of Art and brings this with her? And she's like, yo, you remember me?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, you're right. That's pretty cool. And then he busted out a Wolverine sketch, and he put, "To Eva, hope to see you at the school one day."
Really? Okay.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty cool.
Story. Yeah.
Yep.
I won't sell that. And there's a ROM commission I had done by Frank Miller.
Oh my God.
I couldn't. I was showing somebody the other day, and I don't know where I put it, or I have it here to show you. But that was cool. When I was a few years back, I had helped Matthew DeMacy when he began the Shattered Variant program. He started doing variants off of his mosaics, which are beautiful, beautiful mosaics. And he started doing variant covers. And he and I were working together on the first few variant projects. And we got an opportunity to go to Al Milgram's house.
Really?
This was, I think, in 2017. And we went to Milgram's house and wound up spending about 7 hours there. Al's one of the greatest guys on the planet. And
he's so underappreciated, undervalued, or
totally underappreciated.
I think underappreciated is the way to put it. Yeah.
The body of work that he's done is remarkable. And I think he just might not have that super memorable style like McFarlane. You can look at a McFarlane and be like,
sure.
You can look at Kirby and be like Kirby.
Yep.
But Al kind of encompasses a lot of different elements of other people. So he doesn't have like his own super style, I don't think.
Yeah, but I think it's because there were so many Bronze Age and Silver Age, Bronze Age, because he was definitely later Silver, heavy Bronze, and there were so many other it was the end of the Kirby era. It was Bob Layton, and you've got so many different guys. I think there was just a plethora of them, but even though Al had this time,
And he's such a nice guy. Like I said, I got a chance to meet him. He was at 2 of my shows, and we just hit it off. Super nice guy. But anyway, we spent about 6 or 7 hours at his house that day listening to stories of the Marvel bullpen. And it was, I'm a kid living a dream at that point. Like,
right.
There's one of the guys that drew ROM, and I'm sitting in his living room. This is crazy. And he's showing me stacks of original art. Just a super nice guy. And then we spent the night. Matt and I got a room, or a couple of rooms, and we spent the night. And the next day, we went to Frank Miller's house. That was crazy.
Oh my God!
We had met Frank at the New York Comic Con a few months prior, and we showed him the mosaic that Matt did to homage Daredevil 158.
Okay. Yep.
And he wound up making a variant off the book and sending.
Yeah, right. The Shattered variant, right? That you said, right? Yeah.
But he also made a smaller mosaic of the Dark Knight, the Master Race, where Batman's perched on the wire.
I don't know that. Okay.
It's like a silhouette cover, a black and white cover with Batman perched. It's a really beautiful cover. But Matt took that image and put a Superman logo at the bottom, and he made a small, really nice mosaic, and he wanted to gift it to Frank. So meanwhile, while he's talking to Frank, I'm over in the corner talking to his manager, Soren, like, yo, we can bring this to you.
Yeah.
Like, we'd be happy to bring this to you.
Yeah.
And she's like, no problem. Here's my number. Call me. Bring it to the house. I'm like, all right. So we set up an arrangement. We went to New York to deliver the piece to Frank. And sure enough, we went to his house, and he has an entire floor of a building in downtown New York. That's
really
his studio's in there. So
God,
dude, it was nuts. We go into the elevator, and Celine gets on with us. There's a private key to get to the floor, and then the elevator door opens up, and there's like a house door.
Yeah,
something out of Harry Potter. Like, and then she opened up the house door, and we walk in, and it's this beautiful home,
right
in the middle of this building, like in New York. It was
my God,
it shouldn't be here, And his hat, I remember his hat was
the hat that
the hat was hanging on a hook. And I said to Matt, I'm like, Matt, that's his hat.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a picture of the hat, right? And then hanging over on the wall was the original art, the original cover art to Dark Knight.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Dark Knight Returns #1, him and Lynn Varley.
Yeah.
That was hanging on the wall. And I was just like, whoa.
Oh my Lord.
Frank comes out and we start chatting. And I told him I was a ROM guy. And he goes, ROM? What the hell do you like about ROM? And I told him the story of ROM 18, blah, blah, blah. He did the cover to ROM 18.
I gotta look this up right now. I don't really remember this. I'm gonna look.
Fighting the X-Men. It's a really nice book, but he did the cover to that. So I told him the story, and he looks at Celine. He goes, I guess I owe you $10. She had bet him, or he had bet her, that there was not another ROM fan alive.
Oh my God.
Met somebody at a convention. He's like, ROM. But sure enough, I started talking, and I said, yeah, I'm a ROM fan. Matter of fact, and I reach into my back pocket, and I'm like, boom! And I pull out a ROM blank. I said, I just so happen to have brought a ROM blank with me. And he goes, yeah, I'll draw something for you. Leave it. I was like,
oh my God.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, we went into the studio, and he was showing us around his studio. There were Kirby pages falling off the desk. And
Great.
Oh.
it was nuts.
Oh.
And he's working on, at the time, he was working on Xerxes, the book with Dark Horse about the Persian god king Xerxes.
Right.
And he was real passionate when he's telling us about the whole story breakdown that he was drawing at the time was with the woman, and Xerxes had bowed for the first time. So he was passionately telling us about how important of a moment that was that Xerxes actually bowed. And you could tell he was super passionate about the story.
That's crazy.
It showed in the work, and it was just a great experience. But when I went to pick up the ROM piece, it was at another show. I forget where. I wound up meeting Doug Peters, who's Frank's convention manager.
Yeah.
And he had the piece CGC, which I thought was awesome.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. So he got a yellow label CGC, which was great.
Oh my gosh.
It was a picture. I wish I had it to show you. It was a picture, or it is a picture of Rom's head ripped off his body with all these nuts and bolts flying from his neck.
Yeah.
And when Doug gave it to me, he goes, Frank said this was Magnus ripping Rom's head off. And
really?
He goes, he'll never draw another Rom.
Oh my God.
Wow.
In a little letter box, it says squeak. And some reference to Magnus.
Yeah.
So apparently that was Magnus ripping Rom's head off.
Oh my God.
That's
Look at
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
That is,
it's behind me in one of these boxes. My wife looked for it earlier. I can't.
yeah, just can't find it. Oh my God.
No.
So
sorry.
that's one of those things that you only hope for. You know what I mean? Like you only hope for it. I remember there was a while ago where, there were some letters that that you would write Steve Ditko and he would actually respond with like a handwritten one or two or three sentences. I mean, do you have one, Jason?
Yeah, let me step away.
Do you really? Oh my God, I regret. Like, oh my God, this is a huge regret I have, you guys. Everybody out there in YouTube world, I had his address. Yes.
So he wrote me back, and it's funny. My letter to him, I don't think he enclosed my letter.
I have such envy right now, man. You don't know.
No, he didn't enclose my letter, but he addressed it.
Yeah.
And my letter to him was real simple. It was like, Mr. Ditko, I'm a huge fan. I'm going to be in New York this weekend. Love to have a cup of coffee, swing by, shoot the shit, whatever. I'd love to just chat. And his response, Dear Jason, no meeting, and there is no point in stopping by to shake hands. Regards, Steve.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Take a hike, he said.
Pretty much.
But he responded to you, right? Which I thought was he responded to everybody, and I had got access to that
He's
address.
probably having a blast doing it too. He's probably like,
Yeah,
okay, what am I gonna?
sure.
It's kind of like Tom King drawing on a comic. He has fun. What am I gonna do that's silly this time?
Yeah, like what am I gonna have fun with?
Yeah.
Jason, how many years ago was that? Can I ask?
This was 2017, November
So-
2017.
All right. So
Someone asks if you have any Marvel no prizes.
I do not. No. I didn't really get heavy into Marvel till after that, after the mailaways.
yeah.
I do have the comic book, but if you're talking about the actual no prize that they would send to people,
Yeah, no,
no.
Okay.
it's just rude.
All right. Well, before we start getting into the Comic-Con stuff, Roger, you have any questions for Jason about his collecting or anything?
No, I think that I think my biggest question is how do you transition from a collector to a store owner?
Here's a couple things. I don't have a brick and mortar store. My store is what's behind me. I have a building on my property that's armed like Fort Knox that houses some of my collection.
There you go.
Most of the better stuff's behind me. I do have a storage facility as well. My basement's loaded with bulk and other stuff, not so much comics, but comic related toy stuff. So there's all kinds of stuff. But the transition is difficult. I still wrestle with selling, and that's why my wife runs my booth.
Okay.
Sometimes I'd be the wrong person to haggle with on some books.
Yeah.
If somebody bring a book to me, I'd be like, no, this is marked wrong. It's worth more. You can't. No, I remember. No, and then I start going into the story about. I remember when the Thing was fighting the champion. And,
What's one of my favorite stories of all time?
Sell a book.
Yeah.
Because I'm still a collector, so my wife has no problem collecting the money.
Right.
So she'll run the booth. I have a comic family I call the Kosher Nostra.
Okay.
A couple of my buddies from New York that come up and they run my booth too. My buddy Steve Michelson's from around here. He runs the booth, and my family helps out. So it's wonderful, and I'm able to just be the mayor. But anyway, the transition is difficult, man, and that's one of the ways that helps. The collector in me, you can see by the books in my collection. When you go to the show, you'll see the books are like. Here's a couple that are priced. The books are all in my lights. They're all double boarded. They're just really nice books, and I usually, I'll write some information on the back.
Yep.
It'll have price, it'll have grade, date, anything significant like this, the first Tigra. Everything's got pertinent information on the back. I don't put prices on the front, but if it's something simple, like this is a Doctor Strange cameo, Jim Starlin cover and art.
Yep. Okay.
Awesome book.
Yeah.
But I put a lot of time into my books, and I think it shows when you go to shop with me. It's a collector. It's not some guy that looks at this as inventory and threw it in a box $3 for $1.
Roger, what do we know about that?
Yeah, we got some of them around us.
Yeah, that's our LCS. Our LCS, as great as art has been around, and shout out to the Eye Opener for all the years of service and everything.
I go through the same box every week, and there'll be different books in it.
Yeah,
he just grabs stuff from different boxes from the basement and plops them in there. And
that's good for you guys, though.
Well, yeah, but it's genius for him because you have to look through every single book.
There's no rhyme or reason.
There's no rhyme or reason. It's chaos. I got to take Xanax before I go in there. My God, it's.
I envision, Jason. Do you have you have your stuff that's your part of your store and you're selling, but you must have a PC collection that you don't even go near that stuff, so nobody mistakes that as what's for sale.
No, everything I have is my personal collection. My personal collection is whatever I have on hand at the moment, and I'm okay with that. That's how I have to think about this. I enjoy going through these boxes. I enjoy bagging and boarding. I enjoy pricing and learning about books, and smelling them, everything about them. It's I love it. But it's all my personal collection. Everything I have is my personal collection. I treat them like my babies. They're all bagged and boarded and taken care of. There's no bulk boxes that I don't take care of. It's all my personal collection.
Nice.
You had asked me about the transition to seller. It started out of necessity. I guess it's 6 or 7 years ago now. I blew my back out at work. And, I had a regular job like anybody else. I was a restaurant manager, and I collected comics with my spare money. And I blew my back out at work. And I wound up taking a short lump sum settlement from workman's comp on payout, thinking, just give me some money, man. I'll be back at work in 6 weeks. This is nothing. I'm a big, strong dude.
Yeah.
Give me some money.
Right.
Yeah.
And they cut me a check for pennies. And I remember it was 5 years before I even stood upright again.
Holy shit.
Jesus.
Dude, I started getting shots in my back. Every 6 months, I'm getting needles in my back. I'm on gabapentin for the pins and needles. My legs go numb.
Yeah,
So
right.
Nerve blocker. They got me on pain medicine. I was a mess. I went into depression. I lost just my relationship with my wife was strained.
Yep.
My relationship with my kids was strained because I was no longer volunteering at school. It was a mess.
Right.
So, long story short, I was getting $420 a week on unemployment. It wasn't even unemployment. It was like long-term disability or some crap like that. It was nothing.
Yeah.
And I got 2 kids in private school. One's in college now. Like, we got bills, man. We almost lost the house.
Yeah, right.
No money. Went to bankruptcy and everything. And I had to start selling my books. That's what it was, necessity. I'm like, I got a bill. I got something I can sell to pay that bill. And that's how it started. And how it really started was the first opportunity I got to buy a collection. I found a guy on Craigslist. And I contacted him, and he drove up here from, it was like Jamaica Plains, somewhere far.
Yeah.
And he drove up here, and he had 300 books in his trunk in a brown box.
Oh my God.
No bags, no boards. It was like every DC title from 66 to 67.
Yeah.
And so it was like 10 issues of Superman, 10 issues of Flash, or 12 issues of Green Lantern. It was all that, and they were really nice shape. He goes, I won this in a poker game. I need $400.
Oh my God.
I'm like, 400. No, he wanted $500. And I'm like, I remember arguing with my wife, and I had just found a Sawzall. I kid you not, a brand new Sawzall on the side of the road. I'm not.
So you go up to the guy with the Sawzall and say, listen, buddy.
I'm bartering with the Sawzall. I'm like, look, I can get $400 out of the ATM. That's the max daily withdrawal, and I got a Sawzall. He's like, all right, fine. Give me the Sawzall and $400. So my wife's hearing this, and she calls her mother and says, come over and watch the kids. So her mother comes over to watch the kids while she races me to the ATM to get there and get the daily maximum withdrawal before I do. Because she didn't want me to buy the books.
Oh my God.
So meanwhile, this
is like an episode of Goodfellas.
This guy's in front of the house. Like, what are these guys doing?
With the Sawzall.
Race out of there. I was a mess. But I come back because we didn't have the money. I come back and I gave him $400 and a Sawzall, and I slept on the couch for a week.
Okay, gotcha.
But I put all that stuff on eBay.
Yep.
And really new to eBay too, but I put all that stuff on eBay in lots of 10, not knowing what I had.
Right.
There was the first Guy Gardner was in there. The Superman race was in there, $199. There was some really nice books, and I wound up getting, after fees and taxes.
Yeah. Talk about it.
$2,800.
Oh, look at that.
I cleared $2,800.
Right.
So, and I threw that in my wife's face, and I was like,
eight times your money, and a free and the Sawzall's gone.
Here's your $400. I'm keeping the rest.
Also, it's not taking up space anymore. But that kind of opened my eyes. Like, hey, this is the model. You buy comics, you keep what you want, you sell the rest.
Right.
I can still collect, and I'm broke.
Yeah.
So that was my mentality. I got no money, but if I can manage a collection, and so I found one other guy. He was on Craigslist, and I contacted him, and he's like, you were the first person to contact me, so I'm not going to talk to anybody else till I'm done with you.
Okay.
I was like, all right, that's cool. I said, what do you got? He sends me a spreadsheet. It was huge. It was every comic from 1980 to maybe 1994.
Oh my God.
And I was like, brother, how much are you asking? He goes, $100 in a long box.
Holy
And I'm
crap.
thinking, this is great. Can I make my own long box?
Yeah.
And he goes, no. I spent too much time organizing these. They're all alphabetical, numerical, by publisher, and numbered to the spreadsheet. I'm like, well, damn. Okay. How many long boxes altogether? He goes, there's 64.
Okay.
So, what do you want for everything?
Yeah.
He goes, $1,500.
What?
I'm like, 1500. So I said to my wife, I said, what's our tax return?
Yeah.
It's like it was 1,800 was the tax return. It's like we gotta roll the dice. So she says, how? She's like over in the corner. How are we gonna get it here? It was in Maine.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna get it here. He goes, I got a box truck. I'll bring it to you.
Oh my God.
I'm like, this is meant to be. So sure enough, he delivered 64 long boxes of the most pristine books you ever saw.
Oh my God.
And I'm still selling books from that collection.
Really? And how many years ago was that, Jason?
6.
Gotcha. 6 years ago. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
And that, that built up my inventory. And now when something pops, I run to the man cave. I'm like, oh, Spidey 210, first Madam Web.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Great. Oh my God.
And, it kind of turned into, so the separation, long story short, I mean, I babble. You guys didn't know what you're getting yourselves into.
Yeah. Wow.
The separation from collector to dealer, that's how it started.
Right.
That's pretty much become our only source of income. It's not a lot. We do the 2 shows.
Yep.
We do a couple things on eBay. We try to cover our ends, and that's about it. But Celeste does a lot of the work.
Yep.
Bless her heart. My back's still toast. I was upright for about 7 months and feeling great. And then 2 days ago, literally, I reached over at Pokemon's hot. So I had to snap the Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
I went to reach for the freaking Pokemon cards and pop.
Yeah, right. Well, geez, I mean, we're at that age now where you sneeze and you're like, oh, that shouldn't have popped that way.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna talk
real quick. Yes. Let me give a shout out to Remy Q.
Remy Q. We're gonna take a little break right here.
What up, fellas? Everybody, hit that. Listen to the man and hit that like button. I appreciate the $3.99 super chat. Let's give him. This is the first one. You might as well give him the good one, right?
Give him the good one. Get a little flow. Like we're not moving like Cuba, but it's still,
Hey, I got Bob Sugar on the other line. I better hear you say it. Yeah, no. Show you the money. Not show you. Show me the money. Show me the money. Yeah. Louder. Show me the money. That's it, brother. But you got to yell that shit. Show me the money. I need to feel you, Jerry. Show me the money. Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. Show me the money.
There we go. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Good job, Raj. Good job. They would have got it a little quicker. Good job.
I know, because that's not next to the other one. Sorry, I'm still.
It's tough. You host, the producer, and then back and forth. So, so let's get into the ins and outs of planning a Comic-Con during the. I mean, we still are in COVID. I mean, we're not out yet. People are getting vaccinated, but we're still. But this is planning something during a pandemic where you're trying to make the best possible thing for your fans, the safest thing, and bring people together. But let me just tell you,
Christopher Reeves, guys, Steranko, Nick Fury, #1 signed at that show.
Anything you can imagine is probably going to be at that show.
Yeah.
As far as comic books, the quality of the vendors in the room. I mean, it's a 28,000 square foot room.
Yes. Okay. So the con itself, let's get everybody, start for, so the con itself, how we're going to say this is I'm so dyslexic. I have a hard time saying it.
Comics, old school comic show.
That's right. That's what we're going to have it.
And I just dropped a link to the website in the chat. So if anybody wants to check it out, and there's also a link to Old School Comics, your website. You sell comics from there too, right?
Yep. There should be a link to the eBay on there.
Nice.
My best stuff that only comes out at the show.
Okay.
I'll throw $20 to $50 books on eBay, and the slabs. Most of my slabs will go up there.
All right.
my best stuff only comes out at the show, so it's worth it to look through those boxes.
So this show's right around the corner, right?
Right around the corner.
Why don't you tell everybody where and when it is, Jason?
The first show this year is April 24th. It's Saturday, April 24th at the Everett Arena in Concord, New Hampshire. It's a 28,000 square foot room, literally a 28,000 square foot rectangle. They take the ice rink out. They take the walls out. It's 80-foot ceiling, so you're not in the basement of a hotel.
Oh, that's the best.
Circulated air.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we that's where it is. And normal capacity is 1,350 people. So if you want me to jump right into COVID, what we've done to adapt to that, we have we've reduced the capacity from 1,350 to 400.
Gotcha.
At any max.
At any one time. At any one time, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And considering there's 28,000 square feet, that's more than the 6-foot buffer. So we've went a little bit further than what they're suggesting.
Gotcha.
We've reduced the number of vendors from 125 spaces to 65.
Yep.
This allows us to do 6 feet separation between vendors. It allows us to make the aisles 15 feet wide to allow for better social distancing. And we've also installed pipe and drape to add as an extra barrier. And the city has actually made us use non-permeable fabric as an extra layer of precaution with the pipe and drape. So under the pipe and drape will be a thick painter's plastic just to add an extra barrier.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
My goodness. Okay.
We have rented 16 individual hand washing stations that are self-contained.
Yep.
They hold water, paper towels, sanitizers, soap, and a little sink there, and it's pump activated. We make a line of those at the entrance where we've narrowed it down to one entrance and one exit so we can monitor.
Gotcha. Okay.
The entrance, there's a wall of hand washing stations and sanitizer stations when you walk in. There's a person on staff who is literally mask police and will make sure that you're not wearing a chin strap. It's full nose and
chin strap. Right. There you go.
Seriously, we're blessed to be able to even have a show. We're going to do everything in our power to keep safe.
Oh, absolutely. Right. The last thing you want is that one person, putting on Facebook, oh, why is this person doing this at this place? And then that one person kind of ruins it. And that's what, we were trying to hold a little bit of a swap, and a swap is something where we get some vendors together. This was Roger and I's. This was going to be one of the biggest 3 minute basement, one of the biggest things that we did. And I know you were on board for it, but we had to cancel it because, the governor had tightened the restrictions here in Connecticut. And really my concern was, in the town that we were going to have it in, we have all these cars from out of state, all these different plates. All it takes is one person to say, hey, why is this, why are there 15 cars from New Jersey here up in, on this road? And what are all these people doing? It just would have ruined it. So I totally understand and respect.
Yeah, and he had just announced that even not only we had been fined, but the people attending the event would have been fined.
Yeah. Right.
So we're like, we're not. It'd be very, it wouldn't be good of us to ask people to be part of that or to continue it.
Yeah, totally. Well, keeping with the restrictions, in addition to masked police at the door, we have Concord Police Department that we've hired on staff to help us facilitate any issues that should arise. Plus, there's millions of dollars worth of comics in that room. So
millions.
Concord Police, we have an armed security service that we've hired additional security. We also have 2 people on staff whose sole job is to walk around and be the masked police.
Really?
So there are 2 people who are doing nothing but being paid to walk around and tell people to put their mask on. Right.
Gotcha. Right.
And we didn't have any of those issues in August. Everybody was great.
Yep.
But nonetheless, we anticipate more of a crowd this year.
Sure.
Than we did in August. So we want to make sure that we have those extra people policing the crowd. We also have 2 people on staff who walk around with sanitizer bottles and spray. And they sanitize the high traffic areas. The restrooms are done every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Any railings or anything that people might touch, trash cans, they're all sanitized every 30 minutes by these 2 individuals.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
It's really nice. And
right.
Once the line disperses, we bring those 16 hand washing stations in the venue and put them strategically all around the venue.
Gotcha. Now, speaking of the line, There's a 10 o'clock entrance and a 9 o'clock entrance, right?
It is.
There is. So let's talk about the two. Let's the two ways that you can get in there, right? So general admission is $15 at 10 o'clock, right?
$15 at 10 o'clock. It's first come, first serve. There's no pre-sale of those tickets, so you got to get there to get in.
Okay.
The VIP tickets are going to go on sale March 19th.
All right. I'm writing that down. There we go.
They're going to go on sale March 19th on the oldschoolcomicshow.com website. It's going to be $40.
Yep.
And we are literally rolling out 75 feet of plush red carpet, sided with red velvet ropes.
Ooh, there you go. I feel like Elvis.
You will have a private entrance. You will meet with a concierge on the red carpet, who will then hand you your stuffed swag bag from Diamond International Galleries. We're going to load that with, at the very least, a copy of the Peach Momoko Black Widow Skyline.
Peach Momoko.
Peach Momoko.
There will be the ash can from Joseph Smolky's new book, We Don't Kill Spiders. There's 50 of these that'll be randomly inserted. Nice. And the vendors and artists are donating prints and coupons and other cool swag that we're going to surprise you with in the swag bag. So you get a loaded swag bag. The best part is you get access to the venue a full hour before general admission.
Now let's just stop right there. Excuse me. Let's just stop right there.
You get the arena, and I'm capping it at 250 people.
Right. So
those 250 people are going to get the run of the arena from 9 to 10.
Now, Roger and I know this because I'm giddy about this. Roger and I did this at Providence maybe once or twice where we got in the hour before everybody else did. And we literally got everything done that we needed to get done before, because the door opens at 10, it takes people a while to file in. So we were in there for 90 minutes before like the aisle started to get busy, and we got signatures done.
All my signatures done before the rest of the public got in.
So
and see, that's the thing. All the artists know to be in place by 9 o'clock. The vendors are going to be ready to rock by 9 o'clock. It's going to be in full swing. Like, you guys will have the run of the venue.
All right.
And you get a lanyard, a keepsake lanyard with a badge, a hard plastic badge.
Yep.
That the Comic Mint has sponsored. So one side of the badge is going to be a commemorative Comic Mint piece. It's probably going to be the variant that they're going to release at the show.
Oh, nice.
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, no, you didn't. So say that again. So Roger, highlight that guy. Highlight that guy.
Please. No,
go ahead.
I can't say for sure.
Hold on, Jason. We got a little highlight for you. Here we go. Hold on.
You got are we getting breaking? Highlight this guy, man.
So
we got breaking news. Share with us, please. You heard it here first.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
So the Comic Man is going to do what for you guys, Jason?
Well, I don't know. I can't say with 100% certainty, but I know Stephen Finkel, who runs the Comic Man, and I know their level of excellence within the community. He is always pulling surprises out of his bag. And knowing Stephen Finkel, he will either have something super exclusive for the show, if not an artist at his table. I can think Chrissy Zullo, Shannon Meir.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know. Steve's a pretty Stephen Finkel and the Comic Man are pretty solid individual and pretty solid company.
That's awesome.
When they show up, they do it right. So we're honored to have him at the show. He's been a sponsor of the show in years prior, but this is the first year they're actually setting up.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Really excited about that. So he comes with a lot of surprises. So we're excited to see.
So what the executive producer? So Jason, just, that's the inside joke. The other 3 men in the basement is Dave. He's in his cave taking care of his kids, so he's not here. So he typically runs the graphics, and he's breaking Roger's chops about what's taking so long.
Nice kid, a little slow.
Nice kid. But
that's funny.
Right. So Jason, the hour that is open beforehand is pretty exciting for me, because I'm going to go through a list of some of the people that are going to be there, but I have, in all the years of collecting, and since the years I've been back, I've never had a chance to meet Jim Shooter. And
I'm so excited to meet him. I met him once. I never talked to him though.
Gotcha.
But
so Jim is local to this area, and he's willing to make it. Now, this is all depending, right, Jason, on COVID? And
everything is depending upon COVID. Now, there are I sent an email out to everybody today. the rules and regulations seem to vary almost daily from state to state, and we're keeping our finger on the pulse of New Hampshire.
Okay.
Right now the suggestion is that if you're coming into New England from outside of New England,
yep,
it is recommended that you quarantine inside of New England for 10 days.
Okay.
That's the current rule right now for New Hampshire. So I know like Terry O'Neill's coming from California, but his sister lives here in New Hampshire.
Gotcha.
So he's going right to his sister's house. He's rock solid.
Yep.
Teddy from Superworld's in Massachusetts. He's rock solid. James Payette's coming from Maine. Most of these big guys are from here.
Right.
But there's a few guys that are coming from out of state.
Okay.
Are aware of the rules, and they all have, they're all ready to abide by everything. They all sign off on a waiver that they've read and abided by all the rules and regulations. So we're really watching it close, and it's, my biggest fear is Finch.
Yeah, so I do want to show that. I'm going to pull that graphic up right here. Now, Finch was at a show that I first went to, but I didn't get a chance to get anything by him, but I definitely can't wait to meet, take a picture or do whatever with David Finch. And his issue is what, Jason? He's coming from...
He lives in Canada. And right now, Canada's on a strict lockdown. You can leave the country and you can come back in if you're a resident. But if you come back into the country, you have to test upon re-entry. And if you test negative, you still have to quarantine for 2 weeks, but you're allowed to do it in your own home.
Gotcha.
If you test positive, then you have to quarantine in a government facility.
Really?
That you get billed for.
Oh, God.
And that's like $2,500. So to leave and come back.
They have free health care, but this they have to pay for?
Yeah, there's a risk involved right now. And we don't know what the regulations are going to be in April. But my biggest fear is that Finch is going to run into some problems with COVID. I mean, we seem to be headed in the right direction. I think the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was approved today, a single-dose vaccine.
Okay.
So we got a couple other vaccines in circulation. We're turning the corner.
We definitely are turning a corner. And I think that's why we're so excited for this. And I think that's why I'm so grateful that you're here talking about this show, because for a year and a half, and we do want to talk about a lot more guests that you have, but I just do want to say this. For a year and a half, we've talked about when things get back to normal, this is what we're going to do. Things are starting to, and I'm very hopeful, I'm very optimistic, and I hope everybody feels that way, that we are turning the corner and we are going the right way. And to me, your show in April, springtime, early spring, way to kick it off with all these great artists, man.
Yeah.
To me, dude, you are like, this is like, I'm going to not like Allah, but I'm like waiting to be like, it's toward the train is coming to the end. We're at the end of the tunnel here. And this is a great way to kick it off because people need cons.
When you walk in that venue, you're going to be smacked in the face with a 75-foot wall, 8 feet high of pure awesomeness. And that's my booth.
That's your booth. Okay.
This is part of it here, right?
That's part of it. Yep. We'll say that's the southeast corner. But no, that's part of it. This year is going to be 75 feet long. It stays 8 feet high. We load it up. I have probably 90 long boxes of stock. Yep. That is incredible stock. And here's the best part. If you're a collector.
This is what I want to talk about this because we mentioned this in our brief conversation. And
my stock has been priced over a year and a half ago. There's no way I'm changing all those prices.
Roger, you hear that?
Am I going to look out for the Spidey 129s? Yeah, I'll change those. I'll change the giant size X-Men's, which there's 4 of them coming to the show. Oh, but the stuff that's in the back stock, I pulled out a copy of Spider-Man Annual number 16.
Oh, geez. Go ahead.
Beautiful new scan copy. I got $35 on it. I'm going to leave it in there unless somebody find it.
Right, exactly.
There's like 5 copies of X-Men 4, Omega Red.
Yep.
that are marked $5 and $10 a piece.
Oh my God.
Stuff that's popped in the last year.
I got to be the first one in the VIP line. I'm going right to your booth.
Dig in those boxes. I'm telling you, the stuff on the wall has a better chance of getting repriced.
If we help you set up, can we get it even earlier?
Yeah, right. There you go.
I think I know a guy.
You might know a guy. Everett, why don't you let me name off all the artists that I have listed here, just so people get an idea before we get carried away.
Yep.
And then you can
go ahead.
And you can let me know if I missed somebody. I know I got pretty much the big names, but I don't know if you've had anybody since then or if I missed the website. So, I got David Finch, Jim Shooter, Elias Chadzudis, Chris Campana. I think I said it right. Michael Golden, Renee Witterstater.
Yeah.
Ryan Kincaid, Shannon Kincaid, Ryan Santos, and Billy Tucci.
Wow. So
did you say Mike Doherty and David LeBlanc?
I did not.
Mike Doherty's a local guy. He's a really talented artist. I love Mike, and he's been with me since day one. So has David LeBlanc. And David LeBlanc does some fantastic work, too. Again, local guys, but the amount of talent in this area.
Those are the best guys to get a commission from. Yeah. You know, they do such an awesome job.
These guys are great. And Mary Dumas is she works with Just Yao Comics.
Okay.
She sets up with us too, and she brings a lot from those independent publishers, a lot in the LGBTQ community she'll represent. So I love having her there, you know, simply to represent that part of the community. So she's there with us as well.
And you've got CBSI, CBCS, and CGC on site, right?
Yeah, CBCS, the big dogs themselves come down. Steve Paulus and a lot of the big guys will come right to the show. CGC, we have a facilitator with CGC by the name of Captured Collectibles.
Okay.
His name's Jason Irizarry. He's worked directly with CGC for many years, and he now just he's been a witness and a facilitator directly with them for a long time, but now he does his own thing. And so we're bringing him out, and he will do all the facilitation services for CGC, and he's going to keep his prices dirt cheap, is a favor to me. So I think he's only charging like $5 to witness a book or something.
Really?
He'll witness. Yeah. Will he also submit for you?
Oh yeah. You don't even have to get something signed if you just got books you want blue labels on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you turn your submissions in.
That's great news.
Yeah, Roger, we love on-site submissions, don't we?
We love on-site submissions.
We love it. We love it.
Man, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, so they'll both be there. The other thing is the vendors. That's really, I mean, not to take anything away from the talent that's out there. Because
I do have a list of the vendors you had, like the top ones on your main page. You got, of course, you guys, right? Little Giant Comics.
Yeah.
Right.
Super World Comics, Terry's Comics, James Payette Rare Comics, Harley Yee Comics, Bichara Maloof, the Comic Mint, Zap Comics.
Zap Comics, right.
And I threw in JNS Collectibles because those are our boys, you know.
Yeah, we also have David Adams, also known as Descartes World, but David Adams, the guy on the back of the price guide. Let me see. Do I have a price guide here? Oh no, they're in here somewhere.
Yeah, I bought from them.
David Adams is coming to the show. They're huge, and you know they'll bring like a 8-0 X-Men 1 and this just crazy stuff.
Right.
And
so just to backtrack, Gary, you did miss. He went over the entire protocol for COVID, where his vendors are basically cut in half. Their booths are 6 feet apart. They've got separators between the booths, including plastic and fabric. They've got hand sanitizers. They sanitize the bathrooms and high areas, high traffic areas every 30 minutes. They have the portable hand wash stations with actual water and soap and sanitizer and paper towels and stuff that will be outside that they will move inside once you're in. Hand sanitizer everywhere. They got 2 people dedicated strictly to walk around and making sure you're wearing your mask, as well as the people outside making sure that you're not wearing a chin strap and you're actually wearing your mask. And I gotta be honest, you're doing a hell of a lot more than I thought you even needed to. It sounds like you're going above and beyond what they're requiring, and I think that's great.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, we feel honored to be able to even have a show.
Yeah.
and the city's working with us to make sure the facility's safe. They bring a crew in before the setup and thoroughly sanitize the entire venue. They also supply additional sanitizer stations that are mounted throughout the venue. They have signage that they've got together for us, along with directional markers. There's really a lot in place. And I think they've even taken it a step further. I have to confirm this with them. Since August, I believe they've installed a self-check-in kiosk. I don't know if it's going to be at the show. I just read about this yesterday on their website, but I do need to check where they do a temperature check, and it's a kiosk where they ask you a few questions pertaining to the updated rules, and you check in, and it allows for contact tracing and the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
So they're really on it. They're really on it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to backtrack there. Just just a question. I know some people probably missed that, so let's get back to the show. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, that's important. So we got Chris making some jokes here.
Yeah, I meant high traffic areas, not
high traffic areas, Chris.
Right?
Jesus,
Oh, Lord, grow up.
Unbelievable.
But we were talking about the vendors.
Yes, the vendors, right?
So after Dave and Adams, another reputable vendor. Well, they're all reputable, but another person that I'm super happy that's part of the show are Richard and Kathy Munchin.
Okay, I'm not familiar with them.
They run a company called Tomorrow's Treasures. Now, if you've been to New York Comic Con, they're a staple there. They have huge space at New York Comic Con, and they do a lot of mail order stuff. They do some of the bigger shows, C2E2 in San Diego, and we're happy to be in that same list of shows that people would aspire to get to.
Yeah.
So to have Rich and Kathy there, they're one of the premier vendors in the country, in my opinion, probably top 15, 20 in the country. Absolute Comics and Statues is another one. He's a friend of mine from New York who has family in the Boston area, so the transition for him is flawless. He can come up and knock those 10 days out, no problem. He'll probably buy a lot of books while he's up here for 10 days.
Yeah.
But he sets up. I was talking to him this morning. He has 11 X-Men ones. He has who has 11 X-Men?
I don't know. My God. Not me. Not this guy. Not me. I'm lucky I have one. My God.
He goes, I've been buying them for shows, but there's not any shows.
Someone's asking if Gary Dolgoff would be there.
Gary Dolgoff will probably be there buying, but he will not be set up. And he is a really nice guy from there. Gary's been to my house before. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
But he's not set up. No, when I first put the show together, it was put together with people who I've done business with.
Yes.
Or have a tremendous amount of respect for in the industry.
Right.
And it literally was curated. That first show, the registration never opened. It was curated. And now I give right of first refusal to the people that have been with me since day one.
Right. Absolutely
Nice.
fair. Right.
So, spots generally don't open. We're 84 people on a waiting list to get a space.
You are. That was my next question. So you had reiterated that there are no available spaces.
Nothing.
And now you have, and you're saying that list is 85. People must be starving. People need, the dealers.
If you didn't have to cut back spots for COVID, would that sell you out? The 85
No,
or whatever?
I would still be deep on a wait. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but you wouldn't leave empty room. You'd still have people waiting.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Holy crow.
Yeah.
That's
because
crazy.
even when we were filled, like the first year, we filled up quick and we went on a wait the first year, which was shocking to me.
Yeah. So how many years now, Jason, have you been organizing this?
This is 2018 was the first year, so this would be the third year.
Third year. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This would be the third year.
Did you have to coax people into committing, or were they chomping at the bit?
I did. I had to start. Like James Payette, who is an absolute legend in the collecting industry. James Payette, if you don't know much about him, he's an old school dealer. He still puts out a paper catalog.
Really?
Like he'll mail you a paper catalog. He doesn't mess with, you can't go online and no. You want a catalog, you get the catalog and you can flip through the old paper catalog. That's how he rolls. But he brought to market more pedigree collections than anybody. I think he brought 4 pedigrees to market, like the Allentown pedigree,
Huh.
Him and Stephen Fischler, I think, were the ones that brought that to market. The White Mountain pedigree, which is where he's from, up in the White Mountains in Maine. And the White Mountain pedigree has what's known as the nicest copy of Detective 27 in the world, owned by a dentist in the Midwest. It's said to be a 9.4.
Oh.
It's not graded. It's never been pressed or cleaned. It came from the Mile High collection, or not the Mile High, the White Mountain pedigree.
Wow.
But anyway, James Payette's the guy that brought a bunch of these to market. He's legendary. He used to only do one show, and that was the Boston Comic-Con, and that was only to see his friends.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the money.
Good reason.
He doesn't, but I begged him, and he's like, I don't think so. So then I drove to his house 3 hours from here. And I'm like, you got to do the show, man. I basically shared with him my vision of what I felt was an old school show.
Yeah.
And Jim, he believed in me. And what he was afraid of was that I was going to start bringing in photo shoots and root beer wagons. And,
right. So no root beer at this show, right? I can't get any root beer.
Around in the New England area, for some reason, Wild Bill's root beer is a staple at almost every show. Now, the weird thing is, I like the product. I own several of their mugs.
So do we, right, Raj?
Yeah.
I don't
good mugs.
But as a dealer, it frightens me to see these sweaty mugs of liquid.
Yeah. Good point.
Over my long box.
Yes, right.
Someone puts them down to go through.
And the artists can relate too, because they'll come over and they'll set the mug down on the artist's table or on a print, and it's like, dude, get that thing away from me.
Oh my God, that's true.
So we started out, we want to be an old school show, and to me, what I remember old school is there was no root beer wagons. That belongs at the county fair.
Yeah.
See you later. You know what I mean? But I remember the Basement Hotel in Philadelphia when I saw John Byrne sitting at this old wooden table next to Stan Lee. And then, Stan was smoking. It's like, this was comics. There were no half-naked Harley Quinns running around, and some of them are dudes. Like, I don't want to see that. Like some of the cosplay is done very tastefully, and I have a lot of friends in the cosplay community, so I don't have anything negative to say about cosplay. It's just not something I'm into.
Right.
So when I put the show together, I wanted it to be, as selfish as it sounds, I wanted it to be a show that I would want, that I remember, and I don't remember cosplay. Right. Nothing against that. Matches Malone's a good friend of mine. He's Batman around here. And, Wonder Woman, Jamie Dolan does a great Wonder Woman. These guys have put a lot of effort into their outfits, and they do a great job. They do a lot of good.
But just not at your store, not at your show. You know what I mean? And I get it.
There's enough shows for that. There's
And Roger and I often talk about things, Roger, Dave, and myself, we often talk about things that we want to do for the channel. And we're like, well, it's our channel. We do whatever we want. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're going to put that much effort into it, it's like you go to a party, you're playing the music that you want to hear, not what somebody else wants to hear. You hope that everybody else likes it. You know what I mean? But you know what? You don't like it, you don't have to come. That's it. You don't like the food I'm serving? Don't eat it. Right, Raj? You don't like it?
Don't eat it. You don't like it, don't eat it.
You don't eat it.
The other thing as a vendor is I can't tell you how many times I've been to the show and there's, coincidentally enough, all the Deadpools happen to meet in front of my booth. Now they want to do a Deadpool photo shoot. It's like, dude, I'm trying to make rent here, man.
Dude, you are kicking it live right now, Jason. This is facts. My brother, who's an independent artist, is an independent artist, and he goes to the shows, and he does Terrific Con, and he does Boston, and he'll set up. And for years he would say, "Oh, there's too much goddamn cosplay. There's too much cosplay." Because why? Because of what you just said. Now we as patrons don't necessarily see that. You as a vendor, when you've got 5 Deadpools, one wearing a Mexican hat, the other one a donkey, taking up 8 feet of space in front of your booth, is absolutely correct. The same thing with him. So, man, you are kicking gospel right now. You are kicking knowledge right now, Jason. This is important stuff that you're hearing.
Nothing, but they don't spend a dime. They walk around. You want to take my picture? Check me out.
We got a couple questions from the chat here. So everyone wants to know if you're going to be at Big Apple Con this year.
I will not be at Big Apple. No, my personal stock only comes out twice a year, and that's
okay.
Connecticut Comics wants to know if you allow cameramen to take drone footage in the facility.
Drone footage, no.
No. But footage, yes, though, Jason.
What's that?
Footage, yes, though, right? Because I remember when we talked last year, you said I could take as much footage.
Yeah, you're welcome to take as much footage as you want. I would only ask that you get permission from the artist that you're filming.
Right, absolutely.
They get very particular about it.
Yep,
sure.
Right.
Stephen Mickelson, you know this guy?
I do.
Jason, one of the most genuine individuals in the industry, a friendship born in the hallways of a comic shop.
Look at that.
It's so true. I met Steve literally in the hallway of Chris's Comics at a Black Friday sale.
Nice.
And we were both eyeing the Punisher up on the wall. But
nice.
We realized that we were in a lot of the same groups, and that was probably 10 years ago, man. Steve's a great guy, and he runs my booth with Howie and my wife and Howie's brother Adam.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's crazy. It sounds like you've got a great team around you, Jason. You know what I mean? And I think
I'm honored, man. Yeah.
No, and it's important because I will say it's important. It's a reflection of you. It's a reflection of the people around you and the people that are willing to give up their time to help you with your dream and your vision, you know, and I feel about it the same way. I mean, I you know, Roger, myself, and Dave, and all the people that, you know, are in our chat or that have attended our functions, you know, to think that at our last crawl, we had 3 comic stores that opened up and we had over 25 guys show up, you know, on the whim. And most of the people we've never met before on the whim of our channel, just saying, hey, this is what we're offering. Come on down.
Okay.
At one time,
that's cool.
Number 3.
Yeah. At one time when we did like a little swap, it was a second swap. And Roger and I are setting up, and I looked at him and I go, well, at least you showed up, or both of us. You're like, he looks at me and says,
like, people show up to do that with you?
Yeah. Well, at the last crawl, we had 25 people show up to hit up 3 different shops and then have lunch and do a lot of things. And it was a lot of fun.
The restaurant let us set up and do a live show. And
oh, that's killer.
Yeah, it was fun. And it's a great way for the stores to get some extra business. And you know what, though? What we like about the crawls is that if there's any store owner listening or anybody who'd like to do this, the allure of coming to these crawls or going into your uncirculated stuff, right? We want to go down in the basement. We want to go down into the back room, you know, the stuff that's circulated and priced. Okay. You know, that stuff is good. And I'm sure you'll give us a great deal, but you know, let us go back and find some stuff. Let us do the work for you guys, you know, like, you know, our first stop is at usually at Sargent's Comics in London, Connecticut, which is a small, older department store. And he loves us going in that basement because he doesn't have to, you know.
I've been there 4 times. I've gone through.
Find all the hot books for me.
Yeah, I've gone down in that basement 4 times. I haven't gone through half the books yet.
Yeah, right. It's just unbelievable. Well, what did Michael Raphael say?
Charlie Quinn.
Yeah, Charlie. We don't want that there, you know.
Again, man.
Those guys dressed as Harley Quinn. What kind of party is this? Who doesn't love Charlie Quinn?
One thing to the cosplay community. Like I said, I think they're great. I think the effort is phenomenal that they put into it. It's just not the show for it.
Yeah, right.
That's all.
And there are the shows for it, you know, and those are the big shows. And you know what? You know, all the time and all the effort that you put into it, you know, Roger, my family, Roger's family, and a group of us, we've dressed up for Terrificon for many years. And it was even the simplest of costumes take a long time. So when you're doing the foam and the painted foam and the, you know, oh my God, it's just unbelievable. Shout out to those people. You know? And oh my God, the giant Iron Man is just, it's crazy, you know, just how we want. So I'm really looking forward to your show. So we went over the vendors, we went over the lineup of people. You've got a countdown. I think it was 62 days. Is that where we're at, Jason?
I think we're at 58 days.
Oh, 58. So I might be right. I missed a couple of days.
58 there, days, 1 hour, 49 minutes.
I love it. Not to be exact or anything. So
Jason, this was me and Everett and our family at Terrificon one year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's killer.
So I'm Deathstroke and Everett's Cyborg, and then our kids and wives are holding the Teen Titan Tower. And
Right.
That's awesome. I have that poster, the Teen Titan Tower poster that Perez did in '84.
Yeah.
Yes, I have that too.
That's
That's
that specific, but it's got the tower.
yeah, I had George, and the funny thing about that, and Roger will talk about that helmet. I had George and Marv both sign my poster when I got a chance to meet them both times because I love that poster. It's George Perez and its greatness. Yeah. And then Roger made that helmet, right? Raj, tell him what you're trying to do with that.
I made that mask, and I that year I had Marv Wolfman sign it. And and it was right as Perez had fallen ill and had to cancel Terrificon. So I was going to bring the mask to was it Big Apple Con or whatever, and Everett and I had to bail at the last second, and it was the last con that Perez has done.
Oh, that's right. He stepped on the circuit.
Yeah, so and the only thing he does is private comic book signing. So I might have something in the works that's going to allow me to send this thing to him.
You know a guy,
I know a guy, and send it to him, and he's going to have him sign it so I can display and have Perez and Wolfman's signature on that thing. And
you know, Jason Irizarry with Captured Collectibles is doing a lot of signings through his company. I think he did. He's got one set up with Scotty Young, Humberto Ramos. He's got a lot of the big guys. So I mentioned something to him at the show. If you don't,
all right, why not? There we go.
I'm sure he can work it out.
Good stuff.
Yep. And in Concord, New Hampshire, Jason, people wanted to come and spend the night. You have a discounted rate at one of the hotels up there.
On the website, there's a booking link to the Holiday Inn for a discounted rate.
Yep.
And that's walking distance to the venue. They got a bar and a restaurant on site, and that's awesome. I mean, it's clean.
Bar and restaurant, that's all we need, right? It's clean, you know.
Yeah, I just put the link in the chat again to the website. It's got all the information there, guys. Directions, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know we're hoping for a great show. Like I said, it's purely for the comic collector, the comic and art collector, I should say, because like Bashar Malouf, he owns a company called Nostalgic Investments, and he's arguably the largest original art comic dealer in the world. When the UAE, they had a Comic-Con in the UAE, a SuperCon. I think it was 2 years ago. It was before COVID. But it was a massive Comic-Con. They invited one major comic guy, which was Vincent Zerzolo.
Yep.
And they invited one major art guy, and that was Bashar Malouf.
Wow.
And the stuff he's got is going to be a museum.
I can't wait to see it. I ogle over it.
Pieces.
The original art, I mean, I can't afford it. It's not something I collect. I do like to collect prints signed by the artists to my family. But years ago, and it was funny, my son wrote about it. My son is 16 right now. I found his little journal when he was like in first grade or second grade. Alex Ross was at the Norman Rockwell Museum for a weekend when he was doing his exhibits. And it was the Norman Rockwell Museum set up a little bit of a con. It's like you could buy a booth. So like local artists, really local artists was there. My brother was there set up, but Alex Ross did a private signing that Friday night. And I wasn't really back into comics at the time. I was still kind of like still getting my feet wet, you know, and doing everything. But I was always a fan of Alex Ross. I had just read Justice, and that was just a fantastic, miniseries that he did the interior work. But I always loved Alex Ross. So we went the next day, and I saw all of his original artwork from when he was a kid and just all these things that I just ogled over. I must have walked through the rooms like 5 or 6 times to the point where like, they're like, Dad, do we have to look at this again? And I'm just staring at it. It's like, Kingpin and Daredevil, where he's just staring at the white wall. I'm just staring at this art. So I can't wait to look at that stuff, man. That's just awesome.
I have some. I just recently got into original art, and that was I wound up buying a collection of original art from an estate named a guy named Ted Miller, who was a Golden Age artist. He worked on comic books called A1 and Ding Dong, were the 2 comic books he worked on. But he did a lot of political cartoons.
It's not like a show on a regular. No, come on. I was going to be about us, buddy. But there you go.
But that got me caught on the bug. So then I started keeping my eye out for it. It's super expensive, but I've been able to come across quite a few pages at affordable prices.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, around these people, when you surround yourself with people like that, the stuff's bound to come up, and it's great that it goes from collector to collector to collector. The last thing you wanted to do is just to go away. But Jason, we really want to be really. Oh, what do we have? Golden tickets?
We have golden tickets. Yeah, these golden tickets will be given out to certain local comic shops randomly. As I visit, I'll hand them out. I always keep some with me, and I just kind of randomly give them out and leave them out certain places and stores. And other people will give them away. Like I'm going to send you some.
Oh, fantastic!
That you can give your fans.
All right,
your subscribers, if they want to, maybe you could do a giveaway or something.
Yeah,
we do giveaways all the time, man.
Absolutely.
It says you present this ticket at the gates of the Everett Arena in Concord, New Hampshire at 10 a.m. on the morning of Saturday, April 24th. In your wildest dreams, you cannot imagine the marvelous comics, original art, and artists that await you. So that's it.
I love it, man. We're very thankful for that. Thank you, man.
Definitely.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. I'll send you guys some, and you can give them to a couple subscribers.
Yeah.
And go to the show.
Oh, we love it.
Awesome.
We love it. We've got a lot of things planned. So we're going to be really respectful of your time, Jason. I've kept you on for almost 75 minutes talking geek. It sounds like we've been only talking for 10 minutes, but we're going to do a little wrap up, and then, you can say your final words and we'll say our thank you. So just so you guys know, speaking of giveaways, we do have our 2,500 subscriber giveaway coming up. All right. Make sure if you're a new listener or an old listener that haven't done it, I don't know why you wouldn't have gone over. In this video, please go over and hashtag 3MIB and give us one or two comments of things you like about the show.
In the 2,500 subscriber giveaway video, you have to go onto our YouTube channel to find it.
Yes, and only in that video. We've got a lot of stuff that people have donated to give away. One of the things that we've been donated that was given to us is by Shortboxed. Make sure you guys check out the new Shortboxed app. They're donating $100 credit towards any book on the Shortboxed app, and there's a lot of $100 books, so you might end up with that.
All it won't cover is shipping, and when you're on there, you may see an embedded video from 3 Men in a Basement in their feed.
That's right. Click on that video too.
Yeah, click on a video. I believe the new link they have is my interview with Reggie Collects.
That was a great interview too. So that was a good one. We also have a 9.8 Spider-Man 2099 donated by Comic Tunes and Toys in California, and also along with a mystery box. And then also from our friends all the way up in Alaska, Aegis Comics of Alaska is donating a 1 in 100 Berserker cover to us, which is great. And now, Jason, if we hit that number again, we'd love to give away those 2 tickets. So head us up to 2,500 subscribers, and you might be getting a golden ticket right there. So
I want to send you 2 tickets and 2 copies of the Peach Momoko Black Widow Skyline.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's it, right? Raj, what do we say about Peach Momoko?
I love Peach Momoko.
Peach Momoko. There you go. So, awesome. So that's very awesome. That's we got that going on.
We appreciate you.
We really do, man. We're going to take this Friday off. We're going to come at you next Friday with a live show. The week after that will be hopefully our auction, and they're going to hit you up with another live show. So you're going to get us 3 weeks in a row, which is going to be good. 3 weeks in a row. It's going to be fantastic. We got a lot of books coming back from CGC, so get ready for that. That'll probably be in our next video. Those books you might see at the auction right after that. So just be aware of that. I've got a video dropping tomorrow night that Zoe and I did. I had a great CGC delivery. And that's it on my part. Raj, what do you got going on for the Cranky Canadian?
Monday, 7 p.m. I got No Good Comics coming on live with the Cranky Canadian.
Dustin's a great guy, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah. He'll be on as usual. I'll be interviewing him, asking silly questions, getting to know the community in ways they don't get to share when they're on their own channels, trying to stay relevant. So looking forward to interviewing him for sure. And looking forward to our auction in a couple of weeks, man. It's going to be great. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So last but not least, 80 minutes. Jason, thank you very much for joining us, talking, sharing these great stories, the Frank Miller story, your safety protocols for your comic show. So for everybody who's just jumping on, just tell us one more time when your show is.
Highlight this guy, man. All right, go ahead. Sorry, I had to throw the highlight that guy clip. So go ahead.
It's Saturday, April 24th at the Everett Arena in Concord, New Hampshire. And you can go to oldschoolcomicshow.com. It's got a full list of vendors and artists. The COVID protocols are on there. And I'd love to see you out there. I do want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Tobias from Kodachrome Comics, who does these awesome comic collages. He's my graphic guy. and he helps me with all these memes and graphics I put
Your
out.
graphics are phenomenal, dude. I want you to know that, dude. They really are, because if there's something that we've had a difficult, like, so this whole thing has been what we've been learning, and learning to do thumbnails and those graphics. It takes a long time, and I totally respect those, man. That is great. I'm sure Roger will too.
Yeah, he's done a great job with me. He and I will just collaborate and come up with these hilarious memes. And he's the Photoshop wizard. He does my website too. So I wanted to say hey to Toby. And he'll be at the show set up selling stuff. So if you're there, make sure you say hi to him.
Right. And it doesn't go unnoticed, Jason, because that stuff, like Roger and I will be like, all right, we're arguing about the hue of like a backdrop for what you call it. Like we used to argue about sports and stuff like that. Now we're arguing about color on backdrops. So like, what does this become?
It's a lot. I tried to do it myself, and it was very.
It seems like you got a great team, Jason. Man, it seems like you got a great team. It says a lot about who you are. So,
and I've dropped again, guys, in the chat. I've dropped a link to the show, the Old School Comic Show. So from there, you can access everything, directions, all that kind of stuff.
All right. So
thank you both. It's an honor to be on, and I'm happy to share my passion, man. I hope to see some of you at the show. I'll see you guys for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you coming out, Jason. I really do. Great interview.
All right.
So much,
fantastic, Rod. You did a great job. I mean, Dave is going to give you a little critique later.
Yeah, well, I'm used to. I got when I'm doing the live with the Cranky Canadian, I know where everything that I need is, but some of those graphics I don't use on there, so I got.
You did all right. You can come back next time, buddy.
I appreciate that.
All right, there you go. So, as always, everybody, we are 3 Men in a Basement. I am Everett Otto, Roger Levesque, Dave in a Cave. Our special guest Jason joined us tonight. This has been an absolute great show. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your donations for our giveaway. So, as always, we are 3 Men in a Basement, and we are out. Peace.
Good night, Canada.